Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Tuesday, July 21st. A lot of significant impacts on the map today. A surge of thunderstorm activity on the drier side across just about all of Nevada and a good chunk of western Utah and parts of the Arizona Strip today on the left-hand side. So we go into Wednesday, those thunderstorms will become more of a mix of wet and some dry storms, but it will also push up into parts of Idaho where we have concerns for ignition, especially in some of the low to middle elevations. Thunderstorms will be getting wetter across parts of central and eastern Utah where they've had showers and thunderstorms for over the past week. But a bigger concern also in areas of recent lightning will be increasing winds coming out of the south and southwest at anywhere from 25 to 35 miles per hour on Wednesday, where you see the orange, southern Nevada, parts of southwest Utah, and the Arizona Strip, where we have current ongoing large fires. That wind threat continues on Thursday in the vicinity of fires and recent ignitions here along the Nevada-Utah border. Good news is wetter thunderstorms further east, wetter thunderstorms up in the higher terrain of Idaho, still a mix of wet and dry thunderstorms across much of the Snake River Plain. You can see our lightning over the past 24 hours. Scattered about all across central Nevada, parts of southwest Utah, a bigger chunk just south of the tip of Nevada, approaching the Arizona Strip. You can see precipitation on the left-hand side. These are radar estimates, so some of it's a little overestimated. Doesn't really fully measure what's on the ground, but there were some localized amounts near a tenth of an inch, but I would say more than half the strikes were on the drier side. Fire activity has picked up. New fire starts are in the red. Existing recent fires are in the yellow. The open circles are existing large fires. You can see we have quite a conglomeration, especially across the southern areas, but also getting up into parts of northern Nevada, northwest Utah, and starting to see some fire activity in southern Idaho. So I'll be concerned with the lightning moving in. It has been bone dry over the past 7 days, with the exception of eastern and southeastern Utah and parts of the Arizona Strip where low-end wetting rains occurred. And you can see that over the last 2 weeks, also bone dry, especially across Idaho where they're drying out, and we'll have to watch for the possibility of some lightning. Our ERCs are south of the I-80 corridor are 90th to the 97th percentile. Even further up into Idaho, you see a lot more oranges on the map. That's 70th to 80th percentile on the ERCs. We'll have to watch some of these areas as lightning moves in over the next 48 hours. 10-hour fuels, again, critically dry where you see the red, 3 to 4%. There was a little bit of brief modification here in southern Nevada and the Arizona Strip where there were some localized showers that did wet things down. Of course, grasses, 10-hour fuels wet down quite rapidly typically. A look at some of our live fuel moistures. We'll start in the south here, Duck Creek in central Nevada. You can see the sagebrush down at record levels near 55-60%. Typically anything below 100% burns readily, so very dry there. No surprise, any ignitions there are going to be very problematic. Even up towards Elko along the I-80 corridor at record dry levels on the sagebrush, about 80, so that's going to burn readily. And even up here in the Snake River Plain, the live fuel moistures have dropped down just below 100. That means the sagebrush no longer inhibits fire. It can actually be part of the fire environment. Satellite imagery shows another surge of monsoonal moisture. Monsoon finally getting its act together. Deepest, heaviest rain still in Arizona. We're getting the fringes of it out here where it's dry in Nevada, a mix of dry and wet as you head into Utah. Notice this moving northwards. Notice this little low off the San Francisco coast. This will start intensifying and sharpening up and allowing that moisture to surge northwards into Nevada and eventually into Idaho as we go through the next 2 days, and that will also increase the winds in some areas. So for today, we have high risk for the lightning. Just about all of Nevada, parts of western Utah, also in northern California, they have issued lightning, high risk there as well. Going to be a pretty big day. On the left, you see the moisture moving up through here. This is where we expect to see thunderstorm activity pushing up. Deeper moisture and heavier rain still in Arizona and New Mexico. Again, this is our concern. See weak low pressure starting to form here. On the left, this is the precipitation markers where we expect to see some convective activity and lightning, basically, and where you see these dots through here, we could see new lightning and new fire starts. Some wetter rains down here, a little bit wetter here across southwest Utah and the Dixie. Right-hand side, overall light winds, except in the vicinity of fires. All these little purple circles you see are 40-mile-per-hour outflow boundaries from thunderstorms. That will be the other issue. On Wednesday, start on the left. You see this low pressure area developing here, a little bit better defined, pushing in some drier air and breezy conditions in southern Nevada behind the moisture, but the rest of the moisture moves into northern Nevada, northern Utah, much of Idaho. That is where our high risk for lightning will be located for tomorrow. Notice down here, high risk for winds in our far southern areas with that drier, breezy air moving in, and that's an area that would have had recent ignitions and has some large fires. You can see the winds down here, the orange to purple shades, anywhere from 30 to 35 miles per hour in these southern areas. So again, in the vicinity of recent lightning. You can see the precipitation through here, starting to get a little wetter in some spots, seeing some purples, half-inch amounts, but there will be drier lightning mixed in wherever you see these precipitation markers. Now on Thursday, trough of low pressure developing through here. We should see a cooling in a lot of areas, but we still see deeper moisture in eastern Utah, moisture exiting northern Idaho. The only high risk we have is for winds. They'll be in the same areas along the Utah-Nevada border. Notice a lot of the fuels have gone into the green here in eastern Utah after several days of higher humidity and showers. And looking at those winds again along the Nevada-Utah border, some of those purples are gusts of about 45 miles per hour. Again, we have active fires in this area, so a big concern through here. And outflow boundaries from thunderstorms still continuing, but they should be getting a little bit wetter across northern Nevada and parts of Idaho. 3-day precipitation totals, you can see these dark greens, a quarter to a half inch across the higher terrain of Utah on eastwards, as well as central Idaho. So they should wet down after maybe some starts early on. As we go into Friday, drier air starts to work in, trough lifts northwards. See that monsoonal moisture shifts further eastwards, fire potential on the right. And then on Saturday and Sunday for the weekend, we're kind of in between high pressure and low pressure, but we should be drying out, gradually warming up. Monsoonal moisture stays just to our south and east. And then by next Monday, big high pressure starting to build in across the Pacific through here. Keeping the monsoonal moisture at bay, we start drying things out. Winds should be fairly light. However, any existing fires will have the potential to grow with the heat and dryness that moves in. 7-day precipitation totals, most of this will be in the first 3 days. You can see the deep monsoonal moisture to the south. We just get bits and pieces of it, not really enough to really end fire season in most areas. 8 to 14 day outlook, drier than normal conditions continue across many areas. So again, looks like things will stay kind of active along with above normal temperatures. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.